Hello, thanks for purchasing one of our FastFixit do-it-yourself kits. We prepared this video to help you go through the process of repairing your iPhone in an easy and safe way. All you have to do is follow the step-by-step instructions. So, let's start by showing you how to open your device.
Hey, what's up guys? Today I will be showing you how to replace the battery on an iPhone 5G. Now the first thing that you want to make sure of is that your workstation is properly clean and organized. And then you have all the tools for the job. Now starting here, we have a set of screwdrivers, starting with the flathead, Phillips, and pentalobe screwdrivers. Then we have a set of tweezers, a plastic spudger, and a wedge. We have a suction cup, a little rag to clean, and then here we have these pliers with the suction cups in order to pry our device open. We have our replacement battery and some double-sided adhesive in order to re-adhere the battery onto the device. Now, let's go ahead and start this repair. The first step that we're going to be doing is removing both of the pentalobe screws located beside the lightning port using our pentalobe screwdriver. Let's go ahead and remove both of them. I will be using the box that our kit came in order to place all of our screws to ensure that we don't lose any of them or mix them up. Okay. Now that both of the screws are off of the device, we're going to be using the pliers that I mentioned earlier, and we're going to be prying our device open. So just basically place the device inside of the pliers, firmly press on it to create the suction with the suction cups, and then you're just going to press on the handle itself. So, like so. Alright, then you just remove both of the suction cups, place your pliers aside, and then you gain access into your device. Now the first step basically is to remove the EMI shield that we have here in order to remove our screen. We're just trying to prevent any sort of damages to the flexes themselves. So let's go ahead and remove all three of the screws. Now the two screws in the bottom are the exact same size. The last one on the top right is actually non-magnetic, so make sure that you don't lose this screw. The screwdriver is not going to pick it up. So what we're going to do is you're just going to pick it up with your fingers and place it aside. Now the EMI shield itself has 3 hooks on the inner part of the shield itself. What you're going to do is you're going to drag the shield towards the battery to release these hooks. You're going to pick up the shield and place it aside. See the 3 little hooks right there. Now once we have removed the shield, we're going to go ahead and move on to disconnecting the flexes. The first one here, this is the one for the front facing camera. So using the tip of the spudger, gently pry it up, followed by the one underneath, which is the one for the LCD. Again, gently pry it up. And finally we have the digitizer one, the long one underneath both of these. Now that we have disconnected all 3 cables, we could go ahead and lift up our display and place it aside. Now here we have this metal shield with 2 screws on it. Beneath the shield is where you will find the connection for the battery itself. So let's go ahead and remove both of the screws, placing those aside as well. Make sure that you don't mix up any of the screws as they are different sizes. Now that you have removed both of them, I'm going to use a spudger to pry up the shield. Sometimes it's adhered to the little foam on top of the connector itself. So here we have the shield. Go ahead and place it aside. Now using the tip of our spudger, we're going to go ahead and insert it underneath the cable itself, the section that actually folds underneath the motherboard. We're going to go ahead and gently insert the tip right here and pry on the connector. once you actually have disconnected the battery, next step is to break the bond for the battery and the frame itself. There's double-sided adhesive beneath the battery, so what we're going to do is we're going to use our tweezers. We're going to use the handle of them in order to insert it between the frame of the device and the battery itself, like so. Then we're going to gently pry it. This should break the bond. Fairly easy. Once you actually have a decent gap, you could go ahead and use your hands or fingers to finish removing the battery. Now there is double-sided adhesive underneath this, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to go ahead and use my wedge to lift up the adhesive. If yours isn't too bad, you can go ahead and reuse it. But I'm actually going to go ahead and install some new one just to show you guys how to do it. Alright, this plastic tab that you see right here, this is meant for you to remove the battery. Now it doesn't really work that well. Every single time that you attempt to remove the battery, it ends up just breaking. So you don't necessarily have to leave this in place. If you're going to go ahead and clean off everything inside of the device, you could go ahead and just pull it off of the frame. When you're removing the adhesive, make sure that you don't damage the flex here. To remove this, all you have to do is just pull it upwards, being careful not to damage the flex like I just mentioned. Alright. Now removing that is not a necessary step, it's not something that you have to do. But I'm just removing everything from here because I'm trying to clean off the inside of the device as best as possible. So I could go ahead and install the new adhesive to hold the battery in place. Now the adhesive, the purpose of it is for the battery not to rattle inside of the device, as there is some play on the sides of the actual battery itself. Now that all the old adhesive is off, we're going to go ahead and install these 3 small strips. Right in the middle of the device itself, like so. There's the last one. Alright, just make sure they're seated properly. Now we're going to go ahead and remove them, the protective film on top of them, on all 3, and finally we will install the new battery. Now to install the new battery, what we're going to do is we're going to create the proper fold on the flex. In order to do so, all we have to do is plug in the connector first. So what you're going to do is just plug it in. I'm going to basically put the connector on top of the socket, feel for it, and then gently press down until you feel that click. You're going to grab the battery and pinch the cable against the motherboard and then lower the battery. This creates the proper fold. As you can see, the battery is installed and connected. Now what we're going to do is reinstall the metal shield that protects the battery connector and install both of the screws that came with it. Now when you're installing any of the screws, you want to ensure that when the screwdriver stops turning, you're not going to keep on trying to tighten it, as you could strip the head of the screw. There we go. Now that we have reinstalled the shield, it's time to reinstall the screen itself.
Well, your repair is almost done. All you need to do now is reassemble your phone. So, did you think the repair was too easy for you? Maybe you have a natural talent for that. How about making some money with this? Yes, you can do just like me and join the iExperts, a community of repair specialists. Want to know how? Visit www.becomeaniexpert.com and be welcome to your new future. Now, let's see the last part of this video.
When you're reinstalling the screen, you do not want to fold these cables. Basically, you just want to bend them gently to get the two on the back out of the way. Now we're going to begin with the digitizer. Is the one all the way underneath. You're going to place it, align it as best as possible with the socket, and then you're going to feel for it, and then gently press down, followed by the LCD. Now once you actually connect the digitizer, the LCD should be pretty aligned. You don't really have to worry about. And finally, we have the front-facing camera. Now this one is a little bit trickier since it's not as rigid as the other two, so you tend to have some difficulties here. I tend to use my thumb, guide it into place, feel for it to drop, and then press on it. And you're going to feel that click. Now the next step is to reinstall the EMI shield. Okay, now you're going to remember the three hooks that are there. You're going to align them with the corresponding location on the motherboard, and you're going to slide them towards the outside of the device. We're going to go ahead and reinstall the screws. Now the two screws in the bottom, they are the same exact size and they are magnetic. The one on the top right is non-magnetic for a reason. Now the purpose of the screw being non-magnetic is actually has to do with the compass of the device. So just make sure that you reinstall that one in its proper location to ensure that we don't mess up any of the software or the functions of the device. So let's go ahead and place it in there with our tweezers, and finally just tighten it with our screwdriver. All right, there we go. Now that we have reinstalled everything inside of the device, it's time to close the device by bringing the screen, making sure that the little clips on the top side of the screen actually fall in place. Everything here has to be perfectly flush. Now with your thumb, you're going to press on the bottom portion of the display towards the top. And basically what we're going to do is, as we keep the tension on the top of the display, we're going to guide the sides into the clips and ensure that everything is flush. And finally, we're going to reinstall both of the pentaloop screws. I tend to just press both of them, place both of them in the location, and then tighten them with our screwdriver. Now remember guys, you don't want to strip the screws, so what you're going to do is once the screwdriver stops turning, that's as far as you're going to go. And finally the last screw. Alright, now once your device actually turns on, you're going to check the functionality of it, and if everything's working properly, then you have successfully replaced the battery on an iPhone 5G. That's it for the video guys. Thank you.